Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to break down a really incredible, lightning-fast blueprint for building a production-ready AI image editor, step by step. Now, if you've been keeping an eye on the software development space lately, you know the barrier to entry has just plummeted. But look, today we are going way beyond those simple, clunky prototypes. We're getting hands-on with a highly structured, scalable workflow using three absolute powerhouse tools: Moment, Cursor, and TestSprite. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to architect a complete application, literally from the database all the way up to a fully tested, deployed user interface.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the AI app blueprint, then move into building the Moment backend, generating the front end with Cursor, connecting external APIs for some extra power, and finally, automating our testing and deployment.
Section 1. The AI app blueprint. Let's map out this development stack. It's honestly amazing how cleanly this workflow splits up the heavy lifting. By keeping our core logic, the relational databases, and all that intensive AI processing safely inside Moment and pushing all the visual React generation over to Cursor, we completely protect the architecture. This means that if your app suddenly goes viral, and hey, we hope it does, your database and backend logic can scale up seamlessly, completely independent of the user interface. It's a rock-solid foundation.
Moving on to Section 2, building the MN backend. We're talking agents, databases, and logic.
Guys, it is genuinely mind-blowing how simple this is compared to traditional backend coding. Building your backend in Moment really just requires these three specific sequential steps to get your app processing and storing data. Step 1, we define the AI agent that's doing the actual work. Step 2, we establish the database architecture. And finally, Step 3, we create the action flow, which is the glue that connects the user input, the database, and the AI agent all together.
So for step 1, let's configure our AI agent. We just feed it the image and text inputs and assign it a very specific role, in this case, an AI-powered image editor. And you know what's really cool? Look how easily we can plug in Google's Gemini 3.1 Flash image preview model. Literally just selecting it from a dropdown gives you instant access to top-tier AI reasoning and image processing. No agonizing over complex API keys or hosting the model yourself. It's just right there, ready to scale AI performance on demand.
Next up, database generation. And this is vital, right? Because managing database growth is a critical piece of any scalable app. Simply by prompting Moment's AI Copilot in plain English, like, hey, add tables for my image editing app with a history feature, we instantly generate these exact relational database tables. In seconds, it spins up an image project table to link the user to their upload and an editing history table to meticulously track every prompt and resulting image. So even when thousands of users are making tens of thousands of edits, your data stays perfectly organized.
Now for the crucial part, the action flow. This visually ties the database and the AI agent together. And the best part, it runs asynchronously, so if a failure happens, the database safely rolls back without corrupting everything. Think of it like a visual flowchart that actually executes commands. A user uploads a photo, the flow grabs the unique project ID, queries the database, and hands the image off to our Gemini agent. Because AI takes a second to think, this runs in the background. Once Gemini hands back the edited image, the flow automatically drops that new data into our editing history table. It is incredibly robust logic-driven architecture without writing a single line of back-end code.
All right, Section 3, Cursor front-end generation, going from back-end logic straight to a React app.
Now, before you even type a prompt, you absolutely must feed Cursor the right context. You do this by importing Moment's specific rules and connecting the MCP server so Cursor actually understands the backend you just built. You paste a GitHub repo URL with Moment's rules right into the editor so it learns the syntax. Then you add the Moment Model Context Protocol, or MCP server, inside Cursor's settings. A quick browser authentication links your local editor directly to your live Moment backend. This bridge right here, this is the secret sauce that makes this entire workflow tick.
So check out this exact real-world prompt passed to the Opus 4.6 model inside Cursor. Listen to how specific we get. Create a front-end React project with Vite for Moment backend ID. The user should be able to upload an original image and edit it multiple times. Use username login. Because Cursor is already hooked into our Moment backend via that MCV server, it actually reads our database tables and our action flows to perfectly, seamlessly map the user interface right to our logic.
The sheer speed here is staggering. In literal minutes, you get a working, styled UI with user authentication ready for testing. You just run a start command, pop open your local browser, and boom, there it is. A beautiful login page, a project dashboard, and a working image editor. Not a fan of the design? No problem.
You don't have to waste hours tweaking CSS. You just toss Cursor another prompt like, hey, switch this to dark mode and add some loading animations, and it refactors the React code right in front of your eyes. It's like magic.
Section 4. Connecting external APIs. Let's talk about extending app functionality.
What if your app needs to talk to the outside world? To really enhance functionality, you can easily connect external APIs right inside Modern. They have a dedicated section for this, so you don't even have to touch the core backend logic. You just open the API dashboard, hit Start Now, select your provider, paste in the endpoint, and map out your custom headers. That's it. You can then drop this brand new API call right into your visual action flow like any other node. It makes scaling your app's capabilities incredibly intuitive. You could plug in payment gateways, email systems, literally anything you need.
And finally, Section 5. Automated testing and deployment. Ensuring quality and actually launching this thing.
So, the big question, how do we ensure our newly generated AI app is completely bug-free before the world sees it? We absolutely need a systematic way to verify that the front end correctly triggers the back end. And let's be totally honest with each other here, writing manual QA tests is every single developer's least favorite chore. So, let's just make the AI do it for us.
By integrating TestBrite into Cursor, we kick off a lightning-fast flow that audits our code against our exact product specs. First, we add the TestBrite MCP to Cursor. Then, we feed it a product requirement document, which, by the way, Cursor can easily generate for you, and we tell TestBrite to run the top 5 most critical user tests. The AI instantly takes over, systematically clicking through your local app at superhuman speed to ensure logins work, uploads function, and edits process perfectly.
This part is wild. TestBrite actually records the AI interacting with your app in real time. If a test fails, you don't just get some cryptic error code, you get a literal video recording showing exactly where the AI got stuck in your UI. It generates a clean markdown file detailing the fixes, which you just drag right back into Cursor so the AI can patch its own bug. Plus, once it's hooked up to your GitHub repo, it acts as an automated gatekeeper, physically blocking pull requests if any update breaks your app's functionality.
All right, the bugs are squashed. Now, the final step is to deploy this finished, production-ready front end directly to a hosting platform like Vercel. Because your moment and backend is already safely hosted in the cloud, all you have to do is push your validated React code straight into Vercel. Within minutes, you have a live public URL. Take a second to appreciate that. You just went from a completely blank canvas to a deployed, fully tested AI-powered web application without writing traditional code.
Using Moment, Cursor, and TestBrite together like this completely rewrites the rules of software development. It really leaves us wondering how this is going to fundamentally change the future of indie hacking. The speed at which a single person can now architect a complex, scalable backend, spin up a beautiful reactive frontend, and automate enterprise-grade QA testing is just, frankly, it's unprecedented. The traditional technical barrier is completely gone. The only limit now is your imagination. So the only question left to ask is, what ambitious idea will you build next?